This
corporate
conference
trainings.
will now be recorded.
Thanks for recording, Subbu. Okay, so I took more than 6 or 7 corporate trainings. I usually take up the corporate trainings, and I also take the ad hoc trainings like this actually, right? And we always follow the SAP course content. I mean, it's not the content that we give, right? We follow the SAP course content. So SAP would give the the course content in sequential manner, so you have to learn in that way actually, right? So that content we usually follow. Okay, so that is my background. So can anyone start? Right, I see Memuna Gul, Saida Reddy, and then Shankar, Achanta Avinash. Can one of you speak about yourself? So I want to understand the background of you guys so that I can talk about IBP in a better way actually. Can any one of you start? Maybe I'll start with Memuna Gul. Sorry if I'm not spelling your name properly. Can you please can you you know come out of
Yeah,
mute? Yeah.
yeah. Hi, Aditya.
Hi.
I'm Memuna. I started my internship in 2019.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yes, I was graduated in computer science,
Hmm.
BScs in computer science on 2017. So
Okay.
I had my chance to be in the SAP industry. So I chose my module as in basis consultant.
Okay. Okay.
So it's been 6 to 7 years I'm in this field. So now I'm thinking to just switch uh, my module to this
Okay.
one
So
for
you are a
the
basis
opportunities.
person, basis consultant,
Sorry.
SAP basis consultant. You're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I think you must be knowing a few things of like security things in IBP then, like some things in IBP, right? I mean, that's why
Yes.
you
Yes. Yes.
wanted to
Yes.
switch.
Yes. I wanted to switch it to explore more opportunities for me. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Okay, so it would be easy. At least you know the SAP. You have SAP background actually, and you must be knowing some security roles in IBP because like SAP system, you will also have the user roles here in IBP as well. And of course, because you wanted to
Yes.
switch to a functional guy, right? Definitely, it would be added advantage if you know the a basis like kind of administrative things as well, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yes. I do.
thank you, Mamuna.
Thank you.
Yep. Next we have Saida Reddy. Can you please speak about it yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Aditya, good evening. Myself,
Good evening.
Saida Reddy. Yeah, so presently I'm into the SAP PP and QM side, the
Okay.
industry,
Hmm.
and I don't have the knowledge on IBP. So before starting IBP, is there any required for the APO skills required? That is
No,
my
no, you're
expectation on this.
no. Okay,
Is
you
there
are
any?
very good
Okay.
to learn IBP because you have a background of PP, right? So what are all the master
Yes.
data that you are using in PP, right? The same master data we
Yes.
use
Yes.
in APO, as you know, right? The same master data
Okay.
we would also be using in IBP. So you are very good to learn
Okay.
IBP, I would say. I mean, you even, of
Okay.
course, nowadays like APO is sunsetting by 2027, if you know that, right? So definitely have to
Okay.
learn IBP. and
Okay. Is there any? We
and
have a module inside again in IBP. We have a
in
different module
IB,
like APO. We have it.
correct,
Yeah,
we
please.
have, it's like in APO, if you remember, we
Mm,
have a demand planning,
yes.
supply planning,
Yes.
and then production planning and
Production
detailed scheduling.
planning, detail scheduling. Yes.
Correct, right? So
SNP,
those,
supply network planning.
exactly, that's the supply planning, we call it as. The same thing we have in IBP as well. Like in IBP we have IBP demand, we have IBP time series supply planning. The supply network planning is called a time series supply planning here as well. And of course we have
Mhm.
multiple modules. I mean, we have 6 to 7 modules in IBP, and your PPDS is now into S4 PPDS, you know that, right? It's called as a
Yes.
embedded PPDS,
Yes.
right? So yeah,
In
we have
in
the
HANA,
similar kind of
in HANA.
modules. Yes, in S4 HANA,
Mm-hmm.
it is embedded. So you don't have a separate a system for doing.
Box.
Yeah, exactly. Separate box is
Correct.
not available. It's within S4 HANA. So within the same box, you'll have your S4 system. Within the same box, you'll have BPDS as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mean, the same thing. I mean, same structure you have.
So in this course, so what we are going to be learn here, then we have
I'll
it.
talk
You're
about that.
saying that
I'll
great,
talk about the
great. Then
content. What content we are going to learn. That I'll talk about.
great things. And yeah, so one more thing is that so I'm into the PP, so I want to be to reskill my career into that in IBP.
Yes.
So how it will be there in that future, and how the demand in the market. So I want to be there in that detail also.
Sure, sure.
Okay, that
I'll
is my
definitely tell
expectation.
you the demand of IVP. I mean, I'll definitely talk about that. I mean, of course, as you know, IVP is now trending, right? And it's
Mm,
very good module to learn for sure if you know APO or PP things. I mean, a lot of people are actually learning PP. I mean, sorry, IVP if they know PP or APO,
okay,
and there is very good demand for a consultant who knows IBP along with PP,
okay,
because a PP guy must be knowing all the background of the master data creation like a PV, recipe, routing, those things.
correct.
The PP guy is the important person to create them. IBP guy may not know all these things, but a PP guy would definitely know that, right? And
Mm,
that is very
okay,
very important for IBP. That's why in a PP with IBP is a trending.
okay,
Yeah,
great. Thank you, Aditya. Then we'll
yeah,
discuss again.
sure, sure,
So one
definitely.
more thing is that I've been started with the career with Subbu only,
Oh,
SAP.
really? Great,
So
great. Good to hear that.
yeah, so we have a relation with the long 8 years of experience with the
Oh,
Subbu.
nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, Saita Reddy. And then we have Shankar.
Hi Aditya, this is
Hi, hi,
Shankar.
hi, Shankar.
Presently, I'm working with pharmaceutical industry research and development.
Okay,
So I just have some glimpses of SAP, but not pretty much knowledge into them. Like I have some
okay,
relations who are working actually currently into the SAP sector. So as we see, Achanta Avinash is my cousin. He's also in SAP field right now. So with him, I got acquainted with SAP very often. So
okay.
which actually made some interest, and few uncles are also in SAP industry, so they're also trying to tell me to switch your career into SAP. It's a lot more better than your core. You
Ah,
will get good opportunities and good development as well. SAP is a good
exactly.
subject. So
Yes.
actually, my uncle has referred to do IBP first. He's actually
Hmm.
working with, I think, TCS.
Okay.
So from then I'm just looking into the IBP things, who are all offering, and I'm trying to get acquainted with them, so that I could
Hmm.
take a good decision to take which institute to opt for the
Yeah,
course
got
and
it.
get into the field. So I'm completely new to the SAP, but I have
Hmm.
some like glimpse of knowledge, so I can catch up.
That's fine, Shankar. You are in right track, definitely. I mean, your uncle has given you a good suggestion to get into SAP because you know, right, a market is with SAP, right? I mean, you know, more than 70% of your market is with SAP. I mean, there are multiple ERP tools, but SAP
Yes.
ERP tool is are different, right? And you know,
Mm.
I mean, definitely you or me, anyone is working in IT, right? They are actually looking out for money, right? If you are working in a niche module, then you will get more money, right? And the SAP is the module which is actually earning you more money than any other tool in the market.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course there are
Like
other tools as well.
some of my colleagues as well has told me and suggested me that this is a good way to get into the SAP field. So try it.
Yes,
You have
yes.
just started the career, just only 3-4 years have completed in your professional life, and
Hmm.
it's a very good time to switch rather than
Yep.
switching after more than 5 years or 10 years later. Feeling that might be switching at the time, it will be a bit hard, and you'll have a lot of hiccups to get into the field. So
Correct, correct.
rather
You,
than
you are you're right. You're right. And don't worry about the SAP learning. I mean, let's say you, even if you are naive. I mean, you don't have any knowledge of SAP, that's still okay. I mean, we'll teach you from the basics, like what is, let's say there are, a very basic things. We'll still talk about those things by comparing the real things. Okay, I mean, real time things. So you don't need to worry, right? Even if you don't know anything about SAP, we'll teach you in a way that you understand even the small thing. Okay, forget about it. If you know, if you have the knowledge of SAP, that's well and good. I mean, you would catch the things very soon. But if you, even if you don't know, that's fine. Okay,
Yeah,
so not at all an issue.
looking forward.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your introduction. And we have Achanta Avinash.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Achanta
Um,
Avinash.
yeah. So I have look. I'm actually into SAP Success Factors.
Okay.
So I worked for 4 years of. I have 4 years of experience in Success Factors, in which there is a module called PMGM.
Okay.
So which is Performance Management and Goal Management.
Mm-hmm.
So I have completed like two implementation projects, which is end to end, and one support project. And my client is PwC.
Oh,
So I
okay.
work for PwC. Recently, I have resigned my job, and I was uh, I was actually searching for a good module again into
Mm-hmm.
SAP. So
Okay.
which is trend? As you said, this IBP is the trend, right? So I was actually
Yeah.
searching for a trend module, which is completely updated version.
Yeah.
So yeah, this my cousin, he told me that actually I'm not aware of IBP basically. So
Okay.
he told me we have a module called IBP. Can you please check into it and let me update whatever the subject is completely it is completely different, and he told me that IBP is very interesting. We can learn it, and
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
I can choose. Yeah, even that is what. So I would like to switch into different modules. So even I would like to uh, uh, like just improve my career growth. So that's what I have chosen for this. And whenever I'm actually searching for basically 99.9% this complete interest is in for my cousin only, but
Okay. Okay.
he chooses me. He chooses me
Okay.
to get into that field. So uh, that is what for success factors I have learned for 2 3 modules, etc., like
Mm-hmm.
employee central, recruitment management,
Okay.
succession data planning. Have
Hmm.
you aware of it?
Those are like, relevant to your HR things actually. Success
Yeah,
factors
which
is
is,
also a
yeah,
trending module
HCM.
actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a even HCM module. Even I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
worked for personal administration and organizational management, which are both
Okay. Okay.
modules, and time management. I worked for 3 to 4 years in between. After
Okay.
that, I merged into success factors, and I was into PMGM module for 3 plus years.
Okay.
So this is what I'm actually searching for, a new module, new trend which is updated. Just keeping on interest in that particular module. So I just want to try
That's
for
okay.
a new
I
thing.
mean, yeah, yeah, definitely. And as you said, it's very interesting module actually. I mean, it's like you take an example of any real time. I think like you are a customer,
Yeah.
you are like, putting an order in Flipkart, Amazon,
Yes,
right?
exactly. So this is actually which is I mean, which is parallel to the SD and MM, right? So, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
sales and
yeah, yeah,
distribution
yeah,
and material
yeah, yeah.
management, which is completely related to IBP, right? So we can also put some good thoughts into IBP.
Yep, yep, definitely. So that's
Yeah.
why it is interesting. I mean, planning is always interesting.
Yes.
It's a planning
Yes.
tool,
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Correct. Correct.
right? So I mean, I'll
Yeah.
just give you an example, right? You take an
Mm-hmm.
example of any, let's say, a small, a hotel, right? A hotel,
Mm-hmm.
let's say they are preparing a breakfast, How do they prepare a
Mm.
breakfast? I mean, they don't know how many
Mm.
people are coming. So what do?
Yeah.
They should
Mm.
know. I mean, they should have an insight of their future, right? I mean, how do they know this much breakfast has to be prepared for tomorrow or day after tomorrow? I mean, they have to get the the ingredients for preparing their breakfast, right? And how do they
Yes,
do it?
exactly.
They would
Mm.
look at their past, correct?
Yes, correct.
Based on the past sales, they prepare your breakfast for future. The same thing,
Yes,
I mean, if you,
exactly.
that's a small shop, that's why they look at
Ha.
past 1 or 2 days. Whereas if you take a big organization, let's say you take any beverage company, or let's say you take Nestle chocolates company, or Tropicana,
Mm.
Coca-Cola, whatever you take, what do?
Yeah.
They have to look out for
Mm.
2 to 3 years in the past, and look out, because see, their manufacturing is happening, let's say you're in Europe or US, and you are in India, and you want to have chocolate, and as
Yeah.
soon as you request for it, how do you get it, right? So it's all about a
Mm.
planning. So at least for 2 to 3 years in future, you have to do the forecasting and get it done, and as and when a customer require a chocolate, he has to be fulfilled with the chocolate. That's called a customer service, correct?
Yes, correct. Exactly.
That's all about the
That's all.
planning. And if you don't do a proper planning, what would happen? You have to wait till you get a chocolate from US. So how do you do it?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
I think someone has a question. Memuna, she raised a hand.
Acha.
Sorry, Memuna, do you have any question? Sorry, I just gave an example of planning. Memuna, do you have any question? You raised your hand, or it is just hello? You there? You are on mute if you are speaking. Okay, that's okay. Okay, thanks, Avinash. Let's get into a few things. I mean, let's know a little about IBP, and also talk about what we learn in our training. Okay, let's get into the
Mm.
system.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, let me share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
Great, great. You see here on the right side screen, I've just added the modules of IBP, right? So if you see on top of every module, right, we have a supply chain control tower, which is integrated to all the modules of IBP. Okay, and below
Sorry,
that,
Aditya, interrupt. I'm unable to get your screen sharing.
oh, you are not getting a screen share.
Yes.
1 minute, I may not share a full screen.
Like, I'm unable to view your screen.
What about now? Can you just see it now? No.
No. I'll just leave and rejoin the session again so that I can.
Yes, yes. You can
Okay.
rejoin that. We can able to see.
Can everyone see it except Shankar? Hello,
Yeah,
Saida
for
Reddy.
me it's
You,
for me it's okay,
Yeah, I
Aditya.
can see. I can see.
okay, okay. Let him join maybe. Avinash, Memuna, Saida Reddy. Everyone can see it, right?
Yeah.
Except Shankar. Let's wait for him. Hope he joins soon. Let's see. Okay, let's wait for 1 minute. 1 more minute. If it doesn't join, right, we can give him a recording. Subbu. Let's continue. Okay, let's do it. Okay, you see on my right side screen, right? Right. This is our total IBP modules that we have here, right? On top of every module. Shankar join. Okay. Shankar, can you see my screen now?
I'm still having the difficulty.
Okay, I will do one thing, Shankar. I mean, if I think you have some network issue from your side, right? So we'll share the recording, and if
Okay,
screen is visible to you, then it's fine. But if it is not possible to you, then we'll share a recording to you. Okay, Subbu might be sharing a recording. Okay,
sure.
great. Okay, so we have a module called supply chain control tower. That's the module which is integrated to all the IBP modules, right? The supply chain control tower is mainly for end-to-end visibility of your supply chain network. That's why you see it as supply chain monitoring. So the supply chain control tower would be used for monitoring the supply chain issues or supply chain key performance indicators, right? So that's a control tower. A control tower is for end-to-end visibility of supply chain network. That's a model which would be used for creating any analytics, like let's say you want to compare uh, you know two indicators, like let's say you have a forecast and you have actuals, right? So you want to compare how much forecast you generated against your actuals, right? So if you want to compare, you need to put it in an analytic, let's say chart. There's a chart, let's say bar graph or line graph, right? So those things you can see. And let's say there is a abnormality situation in your supply chain network, right? Say this, there's a stock out situation, or you have very huge stock, right? Both are abnormal situations. So you want to see that issue where it is actually arised, right? So those things would be done. The alert would be generated by using this supply chain control tower module. Okay, now below that we have a user experience. Whenever we say user experience, it is the UI, right? The UI that we used for displaying our planning data, or how the business users would be using IBP planning data. How do they display it? That's our user experience. So we have two user interfaces in IBP. One is Excel. So you must be knowing, right? More than 99% of planners would actually use the Excel for doing their daily activities, right? Day-to-day activities. They always use Excel, even if they are using any a tool for planning, still they use Excel. And that's what SAP has introduced as a user interface. So if you see the user interface itself is an eye-catching tool, right? I mean, because everyone uses Excel, and that's what SAP using for IBP. So it's simple Excel. Okay, they don't need to use any other tool, because Excel is like almost everyone knows how to use Excel, right? That's the user interface. There is one more user interface called web user interface. It is like a Fury applications, like whatever you see in your phone, right? For everything, let's say you want to book your tickets, you open book my show. Let's say you want to book your flight tickets, you open some make my trip or any app, right? So like that, you will have an app for each and every functionality, right? So for setting up your system ready for doing the planning, so you will have an app for it, right? Those apps, it's also like everyone used to those apps. So SAP are also using the Fury applications for configuring the system to do the planning. That's the other UI that we have. Okay, and then we have the module called sales and operations. Right? A sales and operations planning. So every company will have, let's say, 1 month of sales and operations. So they start with product review, and then demand review, supply review, execution review. So these are all the steps that we have in sales and operations. Let's see one of the modules in sales and operations. This is for supply and the demand matching. Okay, then we have a separate module for demand planning. So as I said, right, so how much sales I am expecting in future, that's a future prediction. The integrated business planning for demand is, it's like demand planning module in IBP. It will be used for predicting the future sales, right? Future sales, and like say they want to predict the sales of next 1 year, next 18 months, 2 years, right? Based on the requirement of a business, right? We do the forecasting. That's where we use this demand planning tool, module of IBP. Then we have a integrated business planning for supply. Now let's say you have a demand now, how it would be supplied. So the logistics has to be set up properly based on some kind of master data, like let's say you have some rule, I want to use you know uh, let's say you have a Europe, right? You take a country of France, right? From Europe you can bring that through let's say any goods. You can use a rail mode. I mean rail mode as in like they have to bring it to the Middle East and then bring it to your India, let's say example. I mean they can use a road or rail, whatever. They use a land connection, and they can use air, they can use your water mode as well, right? So it depends on the priority, right? So how do you want to bring it? So those logistics would be planned. Like, you definitely have to fulfill the demand using your supply, right? That's when we use a integrated business planning for supply. Then we have one thing for inventory, right? So you take an example of uh, let's say same a hotel where they are preparing a breakfast, right? So they know that they'll get 100 customers, like 100 orders, but they also keep some extra uh, plates for unforeseen situation, right? That's called a safety stock, right? They'll keep some things for safety purpose because they may get extra orders as well, right? So how do we manage the inventory, right? Well, let's say how much safety stock you need to keep to fulfill the unforeseen orders, right? I mean, you know how much you are getting by using a prediction, but prediction may not be correct always, right? I mean you may not be accurate 100% is accurate. Mostly you would be 99% or 95 96% is accurate, right? And that 4% is error prediction, right? That needs to be fulfilled by your safety stock, because you don't know what you are getting, right? That's when we use a safety stock. Every you take any business, everyone uses the safety stock to fulfill the unforeseen orders, correct? That's when we use this whenever business wants to do the planning for their inventory, right? They use this integrated business planning for inventory. Okay, and these models, like what are we discussed, right? These are all like mid to long term planning. Mid to long term as like more than a year, like 1 year to 2 years 3 years, right? That's what they do. These are mid to long term. And then we have one more module called integrated business planning for response. Okay, this is like execution models, like it's a short term module, right? So as you say, the name itself is responding, the respond to your orders, like true orders that are coming from your execution system. Okay, this is a model. This will always do, again, demand and supply matching as well, but this is like short term kind of planning, and it will be done with the orders, based on the orders. Okay, these are all the models that we have. And again, we will also have the integration, right? Because if you are doing a planning, you should also know what products are part of it, right? Those master data things should come from your execution system. What is the master data? What is the transaction data? What are my sales orders? What are my production orders? Those orders should also come to the IBP system as well. Then only you can do the planning, correct? So we'll have a integration tool called CPIDS. Call it as a, I mean, now it is called as a CIDS. Previously it used to be uh, HCI, HANA Cloud Integration. Later they changed it to CPIDS. That was like Cloud Platform Integration for Data Services. Now they removed a P. Now it is CIDS, the Cloud Platform Integration for Data Services. Okay, and that is used for integrating master data and transactional data for these modules, as you see here: sales and operations, demand, supply, and inventory optimization. Whereas for response, it has to be, as I said, it's a short term, right? So as soon as a planner create a sales or customer order, like I need this much quantity from this plan, right? Or any order they create, it has to come as soon as they create it in the execution system, right? So for that we have a real-time integration tool, right, which would immediately brings up the data to IBP system as soon as they create it in S4 or ECC system. Okay, for response we use the different integration tool called real-time integration, which is same like your core interface concept. I mean, I think some are having a background of PP, right? So it's like a core interface concept only. So we use a CFM1, CFM2 as well here. Okay, so the output of this data, right? I mean, demand planning output can be sent to S4 system as a planned independent requirements, and that can be used as a demand element for PPDS if they want to use. And if IBP is using only demand planning, let's say if IBP is also using demand and supply, right? So IBP can send the planned orders of mid to long term to S4 system where we have a production planning or PPDS, right? So they can make use of those mid to long term orders. Let's say for PPDS horizon of 4 weeks, so they can convert those orders into production orders and do the scheduling whatever they want. Right? That also, I mean, not all the models are required in IBP. So demand planning, a standalone model can be used here, and remaining things can be done in execution system. They can also use demand and supply as well, or they want to use inventory as well. They can also utilize all the models as well. So it's not mandatory that a single model needs to be used. Let's say they want to use only supply planning, the demand has to come from your S4 system. So S4 system have a demand management concept, right? They create those planned independent requirements to MD63, or they have some, demand management concepts there as well, right? That data would come here for, doing the demand and supply matching. Okay, so same way, we can use any other module as a standalone module in IBP. It is not mandatory that we have to use everything. Okay, now let's understand the principles of this SAP solution, right? As you see here, the communication is very important. How you are communicating with the other system. Then analytic capabilities. I told you, right? Supply chain control tower has analytic capabilities. Like, you can compare the things like forecast versus actuals, shortages in a stock out situation. I mean to say, right? I mean, anything you can compare, like capacity. You have a mission, or we call it as a resource here. The mission is getting utilized more, right? So you want to see how the capacity is getting used, right? Those things you can analytics you can make use of uh, this supply chain control tower. You can put everything in a single dashboard where you can see all the things. I'll show you the screenshot of it. And then the Excel, as I said, right? A simplicity in the UI, the Excel we use. Then a real-time scenario. Okay, it's like, I mean, it's not a real-time integration, it's a real-time scenario. It means that, let's say you don't want to save the data in a database, and let's say you want to give some input and want to see the output immediately. That's the meaning of real-time scenario, that you can do it. And this is the actual important functionality in IBP, which is not available in any other module in the market. Like you take Kenoxis OMP, right? This real-time scenario concept was not there. Okay, and then as I said, right? So integration, you have third-party tools as well. Now I'll show you. These are all the challenges. Actually, I told you, right? So that if there is a lack of visibility information required to analyze end-to-end supply chain, right? End-to-end supply chain would be used this control tower. I mean, whenever you see an issue with end-to-end supply chain, I mean, you don't have a visibility of any supply chain network, then we usually prefer the supply chain control tower module, right? That's a possible deployment solution for this challenge in the market. Like in case if you are unable to synchronize supply and demand planning, right? And that's when you use the sales and operations. I told you, right? This is a module. Then optimal inventory levels, as I said, safety stock things. That's when we use the inventory module. Okay, if you are unable to manage across the complex network, as I said, right? So let's say you want to ship the quantities through, a rail, road, or water, right? And those logistics would be planned using this supply planning. Okay, and in case if you are unable to shape your actual demand, right? That's when we use a demand planning. Okay, and for short-term changes, response model we use. Okay, now I'll show you each and every module how it would look like. This is the supply chain control tower. So as I said, it will give you end-to-end visibility of your network. So whenever I say network, it would start with the supplier and to the till the customers, right? That's your supply chain control tower. And you see, this is the dashboards that we have here. You see, these are all the charts that we have in supply chain control tower. You can see bar graphs, line graphs. Just they are actually comparisons, the demand comparisons. The product family level, they have a demand, and this is demand planning by position. And you see here, you can also have the geographical view of the locations that we have in the network. Like you have some manufacturing site in China, and you have some in, let's say, a Delhi location. So everything would be this is just an example. You can also display like this. So this is how, by looking at the dashboard, right, you can also say where do we have an issue, right, by looking at the network itself. Okay, that's what we have in supply chain control tower. Now SNOP process, as I said, right, so it start with the demand planning, what do you say, the product review, and then demand review. These are all the steps. You see, these are the steps. Of course, as I said, every module in IBP would be integrated with your supply chain control tower. So as supply chain control tower is linked with every module in IBP, so you can also have charts like this. Okay, then inventory optimization, as I said, right? So you should have a proper safety stock so that you don't lose a customer, right? So whenever you get an order and you are not having any stock, what do? The customer would go to other competitor, right? That's why you have to keep some safety stock so that you don't lose a customer, right? That's why we have inventory optimization, so it would always improve your customer service level, correct? Okay, so and because of that, you will have some issues as well. Like whenever you have high safety stock which is not required, you would end up having a lot of cost, because whenever you have a stock, extra stock, what do? You put it in a go down, right? I mean, storage unit. Definitely whenever you keep a stock, right, what do you have? You will have a storage cost. Definitely you will incur a storage cost, right? And if you don't have any stock available, you would lose a customer. So it's like, if you have more stock or less stock, it will always be a problem in a network, right? You should have optimal stock. That's why we use inventory optimization, so it will always look out for optimal levels. Okay, then demand planning, right? Demand planning, as I said, it's for mid to long term forecasting. Actually, it will give proper or demand patterns in future. Okay, still you can use the apps here. You see, it's a demand based on a product family. What is my future forecast? Then supply planning. So full network, you see, we have some network diagrams you see here, where my customer is on the right side and suppliers on the left side. Okay, you can also do the planning for your bill of material. So when I say bill of material, let's say we are producing a bike. So bike will have some components, like it has engine, it has a gear set, right? It has wheels. Those are all called components of a bike. And the bike would be a bike and components together, call it as a bomb. I mean, of course, if you have a background of PP, definitely you know what is a bomb. So that level also we do actually. Okay, and we can also do the mission level planning, like rough cut capacity planning as well. That's the supply planning. It's all about logistics as well. Now response, as I said, it's for the short term uh, supply and demand matching. Okay, then this is the high level structure architecture of IBP, right? How it would be integrated, what would be available. You see on the right side, you see MS Excel is the mm, a tool for displaying the planning data, and we have a web tool as well, right? You can also use a mobile for this, like you have a tab or mobile, right? You can also still use it. Okay, and in the middle you have the HANA modeling, or we can call it as the cloud storage we have for IBP, right? This is where we have a configuration to to model a planning. Okay, and then it has integrations as well, as I said, right? HCI, previously it used to be HCI or data services. Okay, it can connect with any ERP system, like you take a ERP, Oracle, or any other system, like then CRM system, right? BPC, APO, BW, any other system, and you can also integrate our IBP system with the files. Like sometimes you'll have the data in the files, that also you can integrate. Okay, and along with that you have a jam, SAP jam. It's for social it's like your Facebook, right? You will have a groups there, and you can put a situation of your planning there, and the people who are responsible, that would be reacting. It's like a jam integration. Okay, and these are all the are roles of the IBP users. Like sales and marketing people would be available, they know the insights of sales. Then demand planners would be available, and finance people, then supply chain role will have, and then executive roles as well. Okay, then course content. Okay, I'll talk about the course content now, what content we would be covering. Okay, first we'll talk about the introduction of IBP. Of course, it would be covered for sure. What is IBP and how it would be doing the planning, and then we'll talk about the configuration of our system, and this is the heart of your planning, right? So if you do the configuration, then you are good to go, and start your project. So the configuration is very, very important. This is where we set up our system to do the planning. And then we also talk about the integration part, right? So because to do the planning you need some data, right, which is master data and transactional data. So you would also use those data integration apps here. Okay, after that we start with the demand planning. Okay, within demand planning we'll talk about how the data would be prepared, and then with the sales data cleansing, so we have to clean some data. And then we talk about forecasting, ABC XYZ profiles, right? And there we also incorporate some markets and sales adjustments, then we come up with a final forecast. And that output of our demand planning would be used as an input for supply planning. And again the supply planning would start like this again. Creating a master data is very important for any module, right? These are all the master data things that we create, and along with that transactional data is also one of the inputs. Okay, after that we'll talk about the available engines. So we call them as SNOP operators. These are all like heuristics that we have, infinite and finite heuristics. So when I say heuristics, they are like it's kind of a particular function that would be performing, right? So what it does, like, it distribute the demand from your customer to a manufacturing sites to through our distribution centers, and the supply from manufacturing sites would be distributed again back to customer. It's like fulfilling a demand at a customer through supply from uh, your manufacturing sites. Would be doing, but there will be some constraints like infinite heuristics, like it has some capacity, it doesn't have any capacity constraints and material constraints, whereas finite heuristics and optimizer would be using constraints as well. Again, the finite heuristic is a priority based, like based on a priority it does the distribution, whereas optimizer is a cost based. Okay, we'll talk about that. And after that we also talk about the Excel add-in. Of course, even before this content we start with the user interface, which is Excel add-in, right? So you see here on my screen there is SAP IBP. Do you see a ribbon, SAP IBP? This is what we use for doing the planning. Of course, application jobs, we would be running the background jobs to get the results. And then supply chain control tower, as I said, supply chain control tower is important part. Okay, this is the content that we need. And to get into IBP projects or IBP things, right? So you need, definitely you should know this model configuration. This is very, very important. And every module, this module of IBP uses this model configuration. The concepts are same. Okay, remember that. Then data integration is also same. This is required for any module in IBP. And along with that, demand planning. So if you know demand planning, you can get into the project of IBP. I mean, if you have let's say 2 to 3 years of experience, and if you know demand planning along with supply planning, right? And the optimizer is main important. If you know the optimizer along with infinite heuristics, then you're good to go to any project, even if you are having a 10 years experience. And if you know both demand planning and supply planning, you're good to go to any project. Okay, and of course these are all added advantage. Supply chain control tower is also mandatory thing. That's why we have added the very important modules, and 99% of projects would be using this demand planning and supply planning. Okay, and remember that this is supply planning of time series. Okay, it's not a response. Okay, just a supply planning. Okay, our response requires a real-time integration, so it's a separate infrastructure required for it. We need a BTP system, BTP account instances should be created. So it requires some kind of infrastructure. That's why we don't touch that. It's a separate module. Clear? This is the a content that we would be covering, and it would take up 35 hours to 40 hours. So we cannot comment on the number of hours, but it max 40 hours. Okay, max 40 hours would be used for covering full content, this content. Okay, 35 hours to 40 hours. Any doubts you have? And as I said, this is the IBP ribbon, and you see, like any other uh, SAP, right? So SAP screen. So you always have to log into the system. So in SAP IBP, also we have a separate ribbon for IBP, and you have a log on option here. So you can log on to the SAP system like this. You can create as many connections as you want. Okay, you will have many connections here, and you can also create a connections. We'll talk about it. Okay, yeah. The same way we have GUI as well. We have. I'll show you that as well. Okay. So this is how the GUI of IBP would look like. You'll see a lot of apps. So these are all the apps that we have. I mean, you would see more than 100 apps. I mean, not everything is required. Let's say you have identity and access management. This is where the security person creates the users uh, in their roles, right? We'll have those things here. Application jobs are for applications. I mean, just run the jobs in the background. So those things. Okay, so like this we have multiple groupings as well. So demand planner, so all the demand planner relevant apps are available. The inventory planner, all the inventory planner apps would be grouped in this group. Likewise, we have a configuration part, then supply planner and supply planning configuration. So we have apps for each and every group here. Okay, this is how it would look like. I hope it is clear, and I'm done with this demo. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask me.
Yeah, hi Aditya.
Hi, hi.
This is Saida. Yeah, you just shown me that. That is like a Fury apps, right?
Yeah,
The
Fury only.
applications.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. That's a
So,
Fury.
okay, okay. But if is there any we have like in SAP, we have the SAP GUI is there, and we have
No,
Fury
no,
apps
no.
is there.
For IBP, we don't have
So
anything. It's just a Fury apps.
SAP GUI front end. We don't have SAP GUI front end.
No, 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 no. It's only IBP
Directly we can.
Fury app.
Okay, we need to connect with the Fury app only to connect any other like configuration.
Ah, correct. Everything has to be Fury.
Okay, like in our ECC system or Aspirana, we have like a three landscape is there, right?
Correct.
Development,
Yes,
quality,
yes.
goldness.
Correct,
Same
correct.
here also same.
Same. I mean, we most of the projects would follow a two, tier architecture, like test and production. It's, I mean,
Okay.
more, I mean, 1% or 2% of projects would follow the three tier architecture, as you said, dev, quality, and
Mm.
test, right? Sorry, dev, quality, and
Okay.
production, right? But most of the projects, 99% projects would use the two tier architecture, test and then production.
Deploy into production. But
Uh,
where we can do the configuration also, like you did you
in
said
test,
that the content of the
in,
course
in
testing
test,
itself.
and testing itself. When you're
Okay.
ready, right? I mean, you, let's say you are implementing a project, so when you're ready with everything, then you have to
Mm.
just transport it to production. And let's
Got it. Got it.
like SAP, we don't have any transports as such, right? You can just use an app to just export it.
Mm. So then testings will be done by business and also in testing client only.
Correct.
Still, if we want to be connected with ECC to IBP, is there any we have a chance or only ANA to IBP only?
No. See, IBP can be connected with ECC or S4 as well. Okay.
Okay, both possibilities is there.
Yeah, both are available. No, you have the whatever you are using, right? Like let's say if you are using S4 system, then you can connect with S4, and if you are using ECC, you can connect with ECC.
Okay, it's a part of the system or IBP into the system ANA, or it's a different box of system.
No, it's a
Previously in
separate
APO we have
separate
it
system. No.
separate box.
Separate
Okay,
system
okay.
only. Yeah, separate
Then these
license. I mean,
users will okay, separate license, separate system of
it's
that we
it's
have.
very costly license.
Then
Okay, it's not like our
yeah,
S4 or ECC license.
okay. Then if the user is loaded the data into that ANA, then we need to migrate the data into IBP, right? Then we need to
APO
push
data,
the
you're
data
saying?
from here to our if the content of the business users, the key users, business
Hmm.
side, if they want to do the forecasting into the S4 HANA system, then we need to push the data into IBP or not required.
Oh, in S4 HANA,
The
they
plan
don't do forecasting, right?
touch. So okay, there is no need to go for the forecasting S4 HANA. Directly in IBP itself, the user will push the data into
Correct.
the over there itself. Okay.
Yes.
Because my master data will be there in HANA system. That's why PP master
Master
like
data
routing
definitely have
and
to. No, master data you should bring it to IBP.
oh okay.
Master data and your, let's say you have confirmed planned orders or confirmed STOs, right?
Correct.
Because they
Mm,
are actually the actual supply, and the
mm,
IBP should also know that this much this much supply I have already. This is the stock that I have, and on top of that I need to do the planning, right? And then the planning
okay.
of that information should come to your S4 system. So it's like a
Mhm,
like you did before, right? It's a master data is a one-way direction, like it's like from S4 or
mm,
ECC to IBP, whereas a transactional
mm,
data is a two-way direction. Like the confirmed orders, the information would come to IBP. The planning
mm.
results would go back to S4 system for execution.
Okay. So once the IBP planning has been done, it will be result into the S4HANA.
Exactly, S4 HANA.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great. Yeah.
yeah. Same like APO.
But I don't have APO knowledge, so that's
That's
why.
okay. That's okay.
Even
Yeah, that's okay.
because before the IBP, I want to go for that any APO module, but
No. That's okay. It's
now
still fine.
okay, the
Mm,
terminology and everything is good, right? Then we no need to go for
terminology
that.
will, I mean, you'll get to get used to it. Okay, I'll tell you what are all the terminologies that we have, right? You'll get to you, I mean, let's say if you have SAP knowledge, right? We'll just compare the things with IVP and we'll get used to it
Mm.
definitely.
Yeah. Then thank you, Aditya.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions from anyone
So openings will be there, right? Anyhow, time this one.
for IBP?
Uh, uh,
You'll have a lot of openings. Okay.
okay, great. Because I don't have
You,
zero knowledge, that's why I'm.
that's okay. You just search in, let's say, LinkedIn, right? Just search as SAP
Mm.
IBP. I mean, you have that option,
Okay.
right? Then see how many
Yes.
openings you have.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Then Memuna, Avinash, Shankar. Any other questions?
Nothing from my end, Aditya.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm. So I have a small doubt.
Yeah, please.
As we have a SAP Success Factors homepage
Hmm.
for a configuration, so do we have the separate IBP for configuration part?
Yeah. Same thing. Like you will have the URL would be different for IVP. Okay. So you will have,
Okay.
it's just app actually. So in the
Mm.
same URL, you'll have multiple apps. For configuration,
Mm.
you'll have a separate app.
Okay. So basically, SAP Core and SAP Success Factors is different, right?
Yes.
The URL.
Yeah.
So
Correct. Different.
are you using the SAP Core or the SAP IBP?
No, it's only SAP IBP. It doesn't have any connection with any modules of IBP. It's not. It
Okay.
doesn't. You know, it's
So
separate
it's a
URL.
complete different software. Uh,
Completely different. Yes.
okay. Great, great.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all, Aditya. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Then Shankar.
Yeah, fine. Clear right now. So maybe going through the sessions might ring some bells with respect to the doubts.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Okay. Then Memuna. I think she's in mute. Okay. So Subbu, I'm done. So do you have any questions to them? Hello, Subbu, you there? Okay. Then I think we can close the session. Thank you everyone for joining the call. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you for your
Thank you.
session.
Thank you.